Hello, beautiful being. In this video, we are going to talk about why should you become embodied? Why does it matter? Why does it matter to you, to this world, to be more embodied, and how it can add greatly to your life satisfaction? Hello, my name is Haley Friend Wilson, and I am a certified embodiment and somatic sexuality guide, helping people liberate a fuller expression of their creativity, sexuality, and vitality. And today I'm going to get into my tagline, which is Embody Your Aliveness. So what does this mean? What does it mean to embody your aliveness? So basically it means to feel alive. To feel alive in your body, to actually feel the sensations of heat and cold, of tingling and openness or contraction and tension, of pleasure, of pain, both physically and emotionally, having being in touch with our emotions of grief, sadness, rage, as well as joy, levity, expansion, peace. It means being alive. It means feeling connected to life. And the reason why I can speak to this is because I've actually spent big chunks of my time not feeling alive. I was completely numb from the neck down 20 years ago when I was in an abusive relationship. I'm not going to get into that. You could read about it on my page if you want to know more about my story, but I was numb. I was disconnected. I was depressed. So I was not feeling any sensation in my body, physically or emotionally. And so the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I've been there. I've been in that disconnected, shut down place. And I went on a journey of becoming embodied and embodying my full aliveness. And so I'm going to talk about that in this video. And so first, what I want to say is, if you are feeling shut down, rewind. Why does it matter? Why does it matter for people to be more embodied in their life? Because you deserve to feel alive, to feel vibrant, to feel pleasure in your body. And the biggest thing that I've learned is that in order to feel pleasure, in order to feel vitality and aliveness, we have to be willing to feel our pain. Because oftentimes the shutdown and the numbness happens because we don't want to feel the pain, the grief inside of us, physically, emotionally, psychologically, is too much to bear. And so it's easier to just numb out or shut it off. However, we have to turn towards our pain and open that up and see what's there and be with that in order to also experience our vitality, our joy, these feelings of aliveness. And so go back to my video about my 5-step healing process if you're like, all right, how do I even, I'm in the numb shutdown place. Where do I begin? Watch the You're Not Broken video and the 5-step healing process to begin to open that, because there's no other way, y'all. There's no other way. There is no spiritual bypass. Like I love all the people that are talking about all the affirmations out there, like just affirm and visualize and believe. You will not experience your full aliveness unless you are willing to turn towards your pain, because our pain is what opens the depth of who we are, the depth of actual sensation in the body. That opens a lot of doorways that once we're willing to be with that and feel it and let it move through us and integrate it, that automatically those same pathways become the pathways that we experience joy, pleasure, vitality. So you deserve to feel good. You deserve to enjoy your life. And so that is a huge reason why it matters to become embodied. Also, because this became really present for me the other day. I was sitting at a restaurant eating by myself. There was a man sitting by himself next to me, and I struck up a conversation with him. And he shared with me that for the last 20 years, he had been working from 6 in the morning to 10 at night. He said he would he wouldn't really break to eat. A lot of times he would skip meals, or he would just be eating while he was working. And just recently, a few months ago, everything that he has worked for was taken from him. It was taken from him in a really ugly way. I'm not going to get into the story, but it was taken from him. And he said he realized, I talked to him about that and this very strong event that had just happened in his life. And he said that he was getting to this place of becoming more and more grateful for that happening, because now he appreciates the small things. He realized for 20 years he hadn't really tasted his food. He hadn't really felt the sunshine on his face. He hadn't really taken a moment to speak with a friend or a family member and really be present. And so it woke him up to, hey, let me actually live in my body in this life. Let me actually experience this life. Because you never know when you've been working and grinding so hard for something and it could just be taken away. So that really, I think, is first and foremost, one of the things I want to highlight in this video is like, we never know how long we have here on this earth. And ultimately, it is a gift. It is a gift to be alive. I deeply believe that. And I know sometimes it can feel like that's not true if you're going through a lot of hardship, a lot of pain. There's a lot of challenge in your life and you're like, it's not feeling like a gift right now. Just know that it can be a gift. It can be a gift with a little shift of perspective. Because the biggest thing that I've learned is that part of life is that we go through challenge. Every single person. There's nobody escapes this. And if we can turn towards the challenge, if we can adopt a positive mentality that what is the gift in this? How is this serving me? How is this helping me grow? And adopt that positive mentality and not let it overshadow the small daily gifts of being alive, of feeling the breeze, of hugging your child or your loved one and really actually hugging them. Like, are you really feeling the warmth of their body, the smell of their smell, and really appreciating that. These small things are really feeling the heat of the tea in your hands and letting that heat relax you. So these little small moments can actually expand and make your life more satisfying, even if you are in the midst of a moment that is really challenging. And the beautiful thing about doing practices that really put you in touch with the body is that you become more and more comfortable just being embodied, just being yourself. For instance, many years ago when I was not embodied and I felt more anxious and it was hard to be present, maybe I would have been sitting there having that meal at that restaurant and scrolling on my phone, or just, felt too nervous or anxious to talk to the person next to me. But as I've done these embodiment practices, I feel at home in myself. I don't need to be looking at my phone even though I'm alone at a restaurant. I can just be present to the environment and acknowledge, oh, there's this person sitting next to me who's also alone. Maybe I'll strike up a conversation, and actually this person has now become my client and I can support him in this moment that is very intense in his life. And so there's many different positive ripple effects that happen in our life as we become more embodied. Here's a plug. Go download my embodiment meditation, free embodiment meditation. It is such a beautiful meditation. It's free. This is a really beautiful way to begin to practice and cultivate your ability to be embodied. Okay, moving on to the next thing I want to talk about. Yes! Okay, so when we become more embodied, we are more authentic. Right? There's less of a need for outer validation, because when the act of becoming more embodied is becoming self-referential. What that means is, like, I am instead of turning my gaze outward all the time, I'm turning my gaze inward. How do I feel inside? Am I feeling a tension? How's my heart feel? How is the emotional weather inside of me? How is my physical body? And beginning to track what's going on inside. And so as we do that and become more self-referential and begin to understand how to care for our emotional body, our physical body, our sensual body, our sexual body, and care for our body and be present with it, there's less of this need for an external validation or an external source of anything. And that's when we become more authentic, because we can authentically feel what is a yes or what is a no. And with that authenticity comes the ability to also navigate our life, because I deeply believe that each and every single person who is alive on this planet, everyone, has a unique puzzle piece to the whole. I deeply believe that we are actually transforming the way that we exist on the planet. And from these paradigms of having an outer authority, from power over, from extraction culture, from these models of capitalism, colonialism, white supremacy, I believe that we are shifting that consciousness and shifting the way that we live on the planet to being more cooperative, to being more collaborative, to prioritizing the well-being of ourselves, of each other, of the earth, and how to interact with a sense of breaking down this hierarchy of better than, less than, and understanding that we are all equal in the sense of our value. We are all equal. There's no one that's better or less or worse. And so as we are creating this new paradigm and new way of existing on the planet together, I believe that every single person has a very unique and important part to play. And as we become more embodied, more connected to our body, the sensations of our body, we can begin to tune into what is my unique part to play. Because your genius, your unique essence will speak to you in sensation in your body. I deeply know this and believe this. So when you feel a rush of aliveness, so that like feels to me like a tingling in the body, or just a lighting up inside, or a feeling of excitement, that is your internal genius saying, go that way, or more of that. And that this is what I did personally as I followed my passions for dance, as I followed my passion for aliveness, becoming more alive in my vitality, as I followed my passion for authentic sexuality and how to experience that. I would feel these little tingles in my body when I would meet different mentors, or I would have different opportunities presented to me, and my body would speak to me and open, and I'd feel that aliveness and say yes. Also, my body would speak to me when I was a no, and there would be a contraction or a pulling away when an opportunity was not for me, or a person was not for me, or a situation was not for me, and I would feel an embodied sense of my body closing down, shutting down. So this is where you begin to come in contact with your authentic genius, with your authentic life, real time in your body. And as we have more people that are connected to their unique puzzle piece, living that, embodying that, giving that, that is when we are really going to shift things. Because I know probably if you're watching this, you're aware there's a lot of different very tragic things happening on the planet right now that are very extreme in terms of climate, in terms of war, in terms of racism, in terms of the enslavement of children and the mining of uranium, and there's a lot that's going on that is really extreme, the animals that are becoming extinct, and it's too much for any one person to solve all of these problems. But what we can do is say, what is my lane? What is my unique puzzle piece? that I can be responsible for, that I can contribute. And when we want to be in a place of contributing that is embodied in our aliveness, because that's when it's generative, when it's not this martyrdom of like, because I've been there when I was volunteering for a whole bunch of different nonprofits, and I ran myself dry and I was burned out in my early 20s, and I was like, I'm no good to anybody if I'm just pushing and fighting and volunteering and doing everything for free and trying to just change all of these problems. And yet they can't get out of bed, and now I don't have any more energy because I just burned myself out. So I realized that in order to really have the biggest impact, we have to find the place where our great passion meets the world's great need. This has been one of the guiding quotes of my life, is find the place where your great passion meets the world's great need. So the place where the thing that lights you up inside and you could do every day of your life and you always want to learn more about, which for me is embodiment, is also can help other people. And the other guiding quote of my life is follow your bliss. Follow your bliss and doors will open up for you, by Joseph Campbell. Because when we follow our bliss, that's when our aliveness starts to turn on. So just briefly, if you're like, what is my bliss? Your bliss is anything that you have done in your life where you're like, it just does something for me. It just fulfills me in some way. It inspires me in some way. Like before I do it, maybe I don't feel that great. And after I do it, I feel amazing. It's that thing. Okay, moving on. The other reason to be embodied, I already kind of touched on this, but it's that's where your intuition is. So again, in the signs of these sensations in the body of what feels good, and your body begins to speak to you. So again, this is part of not sourcing an outer authority, but sourcing an inner authority, the inner authority of your inner knowing that speaks to you in sensations in your body. And so this has many different contexts that it can exist. It can exist in terms of your business, work, relationships, but also in terms of your health and beginning to experience more aliveness. Because when we begin to, for instance, apply the principles of intuitive eating, which I love, which is basically intuitively feeling into, is my body a yes to this food or a no? Not from a place of craving of my mind, of like, if I listen to the craving of my mind, I would eat brownies all day, every day, because I love brownies. But my intuitive bodied sensation, knowing when I see the brownie, my body's like, no, that's a no. I feel a closing, a shutting down sensation. When I see the green juice or the sprouts, my body lights up inside. And as I eat more green juice, sprouts, my body feels more and more alive, and the craving for the brownie becomes less and less and less. And then as I'm listening to those signals of my body about what to eat, then my body begins to give me more of those signals. It's like a positive feedback loop. You know, when you're like looking for the blue slug bug, and then all of a sudden you start to see lots of blue slug bugs because you're looking for the blue slug bug. As you become more self-referential of the sensations in your body, then those sensations begin to get louder, begin to speak to you more, and you can begin to direct them into many different areas of your life of where you want to develop more coherence, more connection with your unique life path. And so this is also where, as we begin to do this, we begin to come more in contact with the earth, because our bodies are deeply connected to the earth. We literally would not be alive if it were not for the earth and the elements of the earth. We are earth. We are water. We are the food that we eat. We are the air that we breathe. The fire cooks our food. Like, we would not be alive without the elements of the earth. We would die. So when we begin to become more in touch with our body, we begin to become more in touch with the earth and the elements of the earth. And a breeze can come, and that breeze begins to speak to you. Or you can begin to watch a stream and watch the river, and an insight can come to you about a next project that you're meant to do. Or we also might begin to feel the pain of the earth from the fracking and the deforestation and all of the ways that the earth is being harmed, and being able to be in touch with that, the pain of the earth, just like we've been able to be in touch with our own pain, allows us to feel a deeper connection with the earth and maybe a deeper motivation to do something about that and to help and serve in that area. So that is another reason why it's really crucial to become embodied. And the last point is that as we develop this skill, this muscle, it's really a muscle, which again is why you should please practice this embodiment meditation if you resonate with me, if you want to. It's a really easy, free way to just begin to open this for yourself, is because as we do this, as we build this skill, it puts us more in touch with the flow. So you've probably heard of the flow, maybe you experienced the flow states. The flow to me is when I am existing in my life and there's almost this sensation of I'm walking on a cloud. And which means that like I feel called to go to this place, someplace. I go to that place. I meet somebody and have a conversation that opens some doorway for me. Then later I go about and I have some other experience that is synchronistic, that puts me deeper and deeper on my path. And I'm feeling like everything in my life is aligning, where there's an alignment to my day, there's an alignment to my life that is connected to my body, that's connected to earth. There'll be more moments of spaciousness in my day, versus when I'm disconnected to my body, which still happens to me, and I'm drinking a lot of coffee and I'm like, no, I need to get more things done and I need to push and I need to, and I'm worried and I'm stressed about this or that and the other thing, and that's when I'm not in the flow and things are not working out, and then I need to do something to put me back in my body, to put me back in that sense of being in touch with the earth, with creation, and okay, what feels alive? Where do I feel called to put my energy right now? And when we are able to exist in that place, our life can flow with more ease. And with that ease comes a deeper satisfaction, a deeper gratitude for the gift of being alive. I really hope that this video has served you in some way. I'm so grateful to be connecting with you. I have wanted to start my YouTube channel for many, many years, and I'm so happy to just be at a point where I'm like, it doesn't matter if I have the fancy studio or not, I'm just gonna set up my phone and record what is pouring from my heart, what is pouring from my soul. My next video is going to be about how to become more embodied. This is why it matters, and now how to do it. So if you want more of what I offer, you can follow me on Instagram at creativityaslove. Also on my website, you can find the free embodiment meditation and how to work with me more. If you want to get a deep body journey, a deep body embodiment session, this is a really great way to anchor in even deeper into how to source your body as a source of wisdom, begin to crack through any of the layers of frozenness, stuckness, and begin to open that, integrate that, and really understand how to come home to your body as a source of wisdom. And I want to acknowledge that I am recording this video on the land of the Mexica and Nahua. This is important to me to acknowledge the indigenous people of this land and give gratitude to the ancestors that are residing in this place. Thank you again so much for taking this in. Wishing you the most liberated expression of your creativity, sexuality, and vitality. Much love.
This is an add-on about why it's so important actually to turn towards the pain, is because within our pain is where our unique genius lives, in the depth of that. It is actually where our medicine is. Because when we have the courage and the ability to turn towards our pain, physical, emotional, psychological, and be with it, within the depth of it are different messages about our life, about what it is we want to give, about what it is we're done with, about what it is we want to create, about different messages. Only you can find your messages. I found my own messages in my pain. But when we can turn towards our pain, and we have to turn towards our pain to become embodied, this practice, it's a muscle that you grow, that then you're not scared of your pain. You're not scared of your pain or somebody else's pain. And so there's no need to numb out through drugs, alcohol, other ways of numbing, Netflix, sugar, because you realize that actually there's always beauty in your pain. There's always blessings. There's always messages. There's always lessons. And so then your pain doesn't have power over you in a way that disempowers you. And again, for me now, I know that my pain is beautiful. And so I don't fear it. And I don't see it as any less valuable than my joy and my vibrancy. I don't see my grief and my anger and my sorrow as any less sacred or any less valuable. And that is truly a liberating experience, because we will never stop having experiences of pain in this life. It is part of life. We will experience death. We will experience physical pain. We will experience emotional pain. We will experience pain. And so when we can learn to be with pain in an embodied way, in a compassionate way, in a loving way, that is how we can continue to stay embodied no matter what is happening in our life. And that is a true gift.